When President Muhammadu Buhari submitted the budget proposal to lawmakers in December last year, the total estimate was $22.87 billion. But when the lawmakers released the final document on Thursday, the figure had jumped up to $24.4 billion, an increase of about 5%. They also adjusted the budget benchmark oil price, raising it from $42.5 to $44.5.
The executive has been in constant touch with us in the process of doing this budget. When we increased the benchmark by $2, there was close consultation with the federal government before the excess money was applied.
Nigeria has been spending big on infrastructure since last year, and the current budget shows that trend would continue, with 30% of the budget allocated to capital expenditure. It's the highest capital vote the country has made since 1999.
We are now beginning to have a document that begins to reflect at least the needs of these societies. For instance, now the budget is becoming tilting towards infrastructural building, institutional buildings, capacity building than before, that maybe is only meant maybe to pay the recurrent expenses.
The bulk of the funding of the budget is going to come from oil, meaning Nigeria must ensure it's able to meet an ambitious production level benchmark of 2.2 million barrels of oil per day. But one area that is giving serious cause for concern is the budget deficit, which is around $7.7 billion. It simply means the country would still continue to borrow to fund its 2017 budget like it did in 2016.
This attitude of continue to borrow when your capacity to pay is diminishing. We need to cut our clothes according to our materials by ensuring that we reduce our budget to what actually we can manage, so that we reduce our borrowing.
If you look at the revenue framework, the proposal of how we're going to get money, we see a benchmark price of about 44.5, which is quite close to the prevalent market price of crude oil, which is about 50 now in the international market. At some point, it even came down to almost 45. So you also see a situation that we are not yet at 2.2 million barrels a day. We are still doing under 2.2. I understand we are doing about between 1.9 and 2 million.
On paper, this budget looks good, even though some people still have issues with setting provisions. But then the key is implementation. Everyone wants to see the government implement the details of the budget to the letter. But again, ultimately, if the funds don't come in as the government envisages, that would be a tall order. Deji Badmus, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.